never unmuted my mic. Sweet. Fantastic. That's a good start to the stream. Hey, it's 5 o'clock. Much better. With it being 5 o'clock, hopefully some of you are done with work for the day. I'm not done working. I'm here doing the live stream. So welcome back to Lorelink. This is going to be another Quest for the Frozen Flame planning session where we're going to go through Paizo's Adventure Path Quest for the Frozen Flame, which I've been running for quite a while. One of the things I want to spend a little bit of time talking about, though, is not just doing planning for this game, but maybe talking just a little bit about what it's like running a really long time campaign. So this game right now, I think we're into our third year. Yeah, so we're in session 25. Double checking. I'm working on planning the upcoming session is session 25. And we're meeting monthly, except we've missed a few months. So we're actually into the third year of running this campaign. My previous longest campaign was close to 5 years, I want to say, meeting monthly. So I know some gaming groups meet more than monthly, maybe weekly, in which case you get through some of these really long adventure paths a lot faster than that. But if you're like us and you meet monthly, except you miss some, then when you have like a 6-book series, it takes a while. So it can be quite a long time. And that changes some things because it means that time passes between every time you meet. You have to focus a lot on, at the beginning of a session, on helping your players kind of get back to where they were in the story. You, as the GM, have to get there as well. So part of your planning becomes leaving yourself notes that help you and help you help everyone else get back into the game when it's been a while. And when you have something that runs a really long time, you can kind of build these habits of how that specific group and that specific adventure are going to work together. One of the things that we're trying to do with Lorelink is help give you a place to do that. So I make both GM and player notes on each session inside of Lorelink so that we can, excuse me a second, felt that coming, so that you can communicate to future you. I keep notes on what happened in the session. I keep notes on what I'm planning for the next session. All that stuff happens inside of Lorelink. But even before Lorelink, I was making those notes. I was just using a Google Doc for it. For example, I would have a Google Doc with notes to myself, and I would have a Google Doc with notes to the players. So it's really important to me. Also, I like to be sure that the player notes are in a location where the players can access them anytime. Some of my players aren't going to do anything before we show up around the table. Some of the players, though, are going to review the notes maybe the night before to make sure that they kind of know what's going on. But it's kind of important to meet your players where they're at, make sure that it's easy for them to keep up with what's going on. Making sure you're managing character sheets, you're not forgetting anything. One of the games I was in, one of the players forgot their character sheet. I actually misplaced their character sheet, so we're like halfway through this 2 or 3 year adventure, and they got to create a new character because they lost the character sheet. With a lot of digital management, that's less common these days, but it's still, something that could happen. Oops, I accidentally deleted the wrong character, and now I'm screwed. So maybe have backups or notes of what some of the things your characters are working on. But the other thing that's really valuable is to have access to the player's character sheet. So have in whatever tool you're using, maybe have some notes about the characters so you know what their kind of goals or ambitions are, things that they care about. Maybe having a decent idea what their for Pathfinder, what their to hit modifier, or their armor class, or the hit points are, so that you can make any necessary level adjustments on encounters that are coming up. a lot of my players use Hero Lab for their character sheets, so I can go into there and look up the character in real time when I'm planning if I need to kind of make sure that things are going to be appropriately paced for them. Now, running a pre-built adventure, it's not usually that big of a deal, but I have run into some situations where even the pre-written materials are either way over or under leveled. So I tried running one of the Pathfinder adventures one time in the first book. Basically, every single encounter was too powerful for the player's capabilities. It would have just been absolutely brutal, and I didn't like that. Um, I adjusted things downward, and eventually we ended up just giving up on that adventure path entirely. I ran the Wrath of the Righteous adventure path for Pathfinder 1E, which is a mythic tier adventure, and I ended up getting absolutely ridiculous with how I planned a lot of those sessions. So I got to where I was by default adding 5 or 10 every roll for the NPCs. I was doubling hit points on the monsters, and especially villains were getting a lot of extra hit points. And I had to do that because the players ended up being so much more powerful. First of all, we had one more character than perhaps things were planning for, but also the players ended up being so much more powerful than the adventure expected that nothing was a challenge. They were just steamrolling absolutely everything. And this was one of the things that can happen, I feel, even more in long running campaigns. If you're running something for a short period of time, you're not going through enough levels or spending enough time with the characters for things to get that out of hand. But when the players have, I don't know, 2 to 3 months to plan what their next level is going to look like, they're going to come up with some really cool stuff. And in some cases, maybe a new book drops, and they get access to new toys and tools that didn't even exist when the adventure was written. And now that can unbalance things. And the players really get into kind of tweaking their characters in a way that works for them, but that can also end up in a situation where it's really tough. So one of the players that I had on one adventure was playing a Pathfinder monk with some ridiculous armor class. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 40. I had to roll a natural 20 to hit him, ever. And that is something that had to be worked around. So I had to come up with ways to, rather than trying to hit him with combat, I had to try to make him roll saves. But now saves were also really, really high. But you got to kind of come up with things. What are situations that I can put him into, inconvenience him or disadvantage him specifically? And this is where this kind of planning exercise we've been doing comes into play. When you know there are things that the players enjoy doing, or there are things that the players, they just got a new ability and they would like to be able to use it. It's kind of your job as the GM to come up with a situation in which they can use that new ability. And some of that's a little bit back and forth. Sometimes it's like, look, this is never going to come up with the adventure. Coach your players on what an appropriate leveling might look like, what are appropriate things. I, for example, before getting into the Quest for Frozen Flame, put together a short player's guide for my players. Actually, let me see if I can share that with you. I may actually. Yes, I will show this. I put together this document. And today I would try to. I'm trying to get everything into Lurelink, but let me share my screen really quickly. So one of the things that I did even before we started playing is I put together this player's manual, and it references the various things, but like religion and ancestries, character creation, what are some things you should do, what are some good alignments, what are some religions that are available to you, what are some preferable ancestries. One of the things that I do specifically for my players is I skim through the material and I look for languages that they might actually get to speak, right? Because nothing's more annoying than when you have been um, building this character and taking all these abilities, and you never get to use them. And languages is a big one that comes up. So I actually skimmed through the available books, found all the languages referenced, and wrote them down here so that at some point in time, whether you get to use it or not, but at some point in time, you will encounter creatures or NPCs that speak these languages to guarantee that it won't be wasteful. What are some backgrounds that would be useful? Either the custom backgrounds for the adventure path or other kind of more generic ones that would work really, really well. As they unlocked specific feats from the adventure path, I put them in here so they have access to them. We're also doing a free archetype system, and I like the free archetype system in Pathfinder in general. It doesn't increase the power level of the party very much, but it does increase their diversity, their ability to respond to different situations, and it can really make characters more interesting. So in this particular case, it's very preferable that every character is a barbarian or barbarian adjacent. That's kind of the setting. So the free archetype means you could be any class you want and also archetype in barbarian, or you could choose to flavor your character in some other way that makes sense. I'm going to be an herbalist, for example, or a game hunter, or these types of things. Then the equipment, there's equipment that's specific to the adventure that unlocks. And then I started building a dictionary also, things that they would need to know, like background information, stuff about the region, the seasons, the months, the terrains they're likely to encounter. And this is important. So like if you're going to be a ranger and you're going to take specializations in different terrains, right? It's really useful to know what are some terrains that would be helpful to specialize in. And so this gives the player the information they might need to know how to build a really cool character that will be useful to them, right? I don't want somebody to spend all this time. For example, I'm gonna build this really awesome character that's amazing in water, and it's basically never gonna come up, right? At least not until the third episode. So you're gonna spend the first 2 books not getting to use those special abilities. So maybe don't do that, right? And there's this back and forth that happens when you're building, especially in my opinion, especially in these long running campaigns. You've got to work with the players, go back and forth, communicate effectively on, without trying to give anything away, but what is the setting? What are the things you're going to run into? Like, give them some idea how to build a useful character. And when they've made decisions, whether it's in the material or not, to do a really good job as a GM, you have to kind of look at what are the abilities they're taking, what are the things they're doing, and you can either coach them to do in specific direction, or you can modify the material to fit what they're doing to make things more interesting to the players. That's a big part of why we're planning. Part of planning is to help things run smoothly at the table, to make sure that we're able to communicate and get everybody in the mindset and in the situation, so we all have kind of the same mental model of where we're at, what's going on, what are the events that are happening, but also to make sure that everybody's having a good time getting to do the cool things that they've set out to do. When you invest 2, 3, 4, 5 years into building a character, your players get very, very, very attached to those characters. Killing a character in a one-shot, depending on, some groups don't even like that, but like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, you're in a one-shot, be vicious, kill the characters, make things really hard, be lethal, whatever, no big deal. Or if you're gonna run them through some adventure like, I don't know, Tomb of Horrors, where everybody understands, hey look, character death is a real thing, but you have to be open and honest and upfront with that being a possibility. This is an extra lethal campaign on purpose, just be aware of that, make sure the players are all okay with that before they jump in. But when you've got 3-4 years invested in building this character, you don't want to just suddenly kill off a character. That's really bad. As a GM, So you need to kind of manage some of those expectations a little bit. Does that mean you need to, maybe you need to provide a way to revive a character that's fallen, or you need to leave one player alive so that they can, take everybody to safety, revive everybody, um, make sure they have access to the resources necessary to perform resurrection. Whatever that looks like for you to make sure that you, because part of running a good game, like you don't want to wipe out all that work that somebody has invested. There's you get attached to a character, to a setting, to a world, but also that you're not turning everything into just a walk in the park that's not challenging. A big part of your job as the GM is to manage and mitigate kind of the balance there, right? Of this has to be challenging, it has to be hard, there has to be some risk of failure or some consequence of failure, because that's kind of what makes things engaging and interesting to some extent, without necessarily wiping out the party. And it's your responsibility to kind of know what each player has in their mind, what kind of risk tolerance they have, that sort of thing. So, for example, several of the campaigns that I've been in the last couple of years, I have had one character that get cursed and turned into an agent for the very people we're fighting against. And he attacked the party and ran off. I had one character just flat out die to a cursed item, and I'm fine with that, even though that was, I don't even know, I had over 2 years invested in that character. But you've got to make sure in advance that the player's okay with it. Hey, this is, what are you somebody that's going to be okay with it? And then you pick on those specific characters when you're maybe targeting somebody with a super powerful thing that is likely to cause character death. Just as an example. Anyway, I just some of the thoughts that I have. I've done a couple different. I've been involved in a lot of long-running campaigns that are 2 years or longer. Again, this current campaign, Quest for the Frozen Flame, has been going on. We're into our 3rd year now. I've run other campaigns that were at least 5 years. So that's not an experience that everybody gets to have. I feel like I was reminded of that recently, talking to some people about RPGs. So I just wanted to bring that up. And if you have any questions about running long-running campaigns, please reach out. You can either drop those in the chat here, or you can send them to me later through the Lorelink Discord, or just message me directly. Reincarnation mechanism could be told. Yeah, came back as a silver dragon. Yeah, absolutely. Like having some mechanism. When we played Kingmaker, one of the characters actually fell off a mountain, fell all the way off a mountain. Not a whole lot left, but we were able to recover enough of them to do a full resurrection. So, and in that case, they wanted the same character back, so we just did a straight resurrection. But sometimes there can be really cool side effects depending on what happens, either on different character or whatever else. So what I did in the campaign, I had this monk that died very suddenly. The campaign had been running in a long time. I actually created a character that came up as having been one of their followers, and now, so he knows the history, he comes into the situation, is filling a similar role for the party, with that being the same character. A little bit different personality, different skills, completely different class actually, but still filling a similar role. So kind of up to you how you want to handle that, and up to the player as well when you're creating those replacements. Work together on it, make sure it's fun for everybody. Yeah, falling all the way off a mountain. Yeah, that was a heck of a splat. It was basically, I think we rolled like 3 ones in a row. you know, good times, good times. We all felt really bad about that too, because that was the only character that was capable of performing the quest in question, and the player wasn't even there at the time. So we killed the character for player that wasn't even present. So that really sucked. In general, not a great idea. Don't do that. All right, let me. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get into Quest for the Frozen Flame just a little bit. Just wanted to talk over some of that stuff a little bit. It had been scratching at the back of my brain the past couple of weeks. So we did not make it through session 25 again yet because you know, life happened. So we'll have to do that here in a few weeks. But in the meanwhile, we can still do a little bit of planning. Oh, you know what I don't have? 1 second. I don't have the adventure open, so bear with me for a minute as I get that opened up so that I can do the next little bit of planning. Sorry, it's been just a little bit of an off day for me, so I was not as prepared as I would have liked to. But hey, at least I got the stream started on time, right? That counts for something. Cool. So, looking up the Lost Mammoth Valley, let's pull up the map on that. We're gonna here, so we have there. That's what I'm looking for. Here's the pinned map. I have filled out all of these locations. I think we have completely finished. We finished the Glacial Palace. Let's take a peek at that. Maybe not. Nope, not finished the Glacial Palace. So we have Venexus' Lair, but we have not done any of the other items. So let's go ahead and create those. Edit mode. Do D1 Grand Entry. Read aloud text for once. That's always nice. Then next is chosen. So we're gonna go ahead and create this. Save this. Create a creature here. The Nexus is chosen. There we go. Dragonkin Monks. Creature 6. Two. Put that in here. Do a little formatting on it. AC Fort. So, any of you all been involved in some really long running campaigns? Hey, Wolf Mom. Swap and powerful this. about that. So then we're going to come back into the grand entry. I'm going to associate that. Not more than a few years. Extended due to COVID. Ill. Wrapped up with that. Well, yeah, that's fair. Wrapping it up without you is kind of a bummer, but I understand. We ended up switching a lot of stuff online, and even now, and we had already been doing like one campaign online, so we'd all been kind of familiar with it. So we switched a lot of stuff online, and every once in a while we'll still hunt and do something online if we can't get together for whatever reason, or somebody's sick but we still want to play. Like, this is chosen. There it is. Associate. Cool. So now Venexis is chosen as associated, and we have that here. We've got 3 of them. Put this here. Oh, look, we're going to come in here, and it looks like I missed some text when I was copying. There we go. Save that. Got treasure there, save that. Cool. Come back in here. We're going to add an offering chamber. I'd already had that. Save that. Okay, then we go in the offering chamber, close these other things. There we go. In the offering chamber, we have creatures, 2 zombie mammoths. Okay. Create the zombie mammoths here in a second after I grab the treasure. Zombie mammoth. That's terrifying. I don't think that needs a short description. It's pretty self-explanatory, but all right. Do all the formatting here, make this easy to read through. Interesting. So it's pointed out to me that stream is not catching up. Give me a second. I'm gonna try switching my view. Interesting. Well, we're gonna do this somehow. That's fascinating. In the middle of working through this, it looks like OBS got confused about which browser window I was working with, because this is the browser window that I had set up. Okay, let's try this again. Nothing, it can't be a proper stream without at least some issue, right? Give this a quick fix right quick, and then we'll on with our day. That was super bizarre. Make this a little narrower. Interesting. That's a new one on me. Nothing like switching browser windows midstream to make you really uncomfortable. Thank you for that, OBS. I think the problem is because I've been doing some work on Lurlink, big shocker, I ended up with multiple browser windows open to Lurlink, and at some point in time, OBS just snagged the wrong one. Okay. Here we go. Good? Cool. It looks like, okay, checking Twitch. Yep, we're in good shape. That's super wild. All right, so what I'm doing, let me come back here really quickly, make sure. I am in the, I've been working on the Glacial Palace, so I've got the D21 Grand Entry, D1 Grand Entry, D2 Offering Chamber. I have on the Offering Chamber, I've added some Zombie Mammoths. So now I'm going to come in here. I'm setting up the Zombie Mammoth really quickly. So let's finish going through that. Tusks. Save that. So now I'm going to come in here and associate the Zombie Mammoth. Cool. Save that. That's that. So let's go ahead and create D3. Rear quarters. D1 and D3. Okay, so what we're going to do, D3 is now going to get attached to location D1. Okay. So now if I go to D1, it is now associated with D3, which is their quarters of the people that are there. So that's cool. There's 3 down. D4. Fezerod's quarters. If the dragon Fezerod escaped the burning mammoths, area B40. He can be found here. So if Fezerod is here, we'll that's not what I want. That's marked down. There we go. We'll do that. There we go. If Fezerod is here, we'll do that. Here we are. Okay, cool. Then we've got a whole bunch of text. He wishes the party luck. He is not out to get them necessarily. Doesn't mean they're not going to be out to get him. So Fezerod's quarters is going to get associated with B30. So that's where they would have found him the first time. Scorched Veil. Checking. Nope, B40. I lied. Yeah, B40. There it is, the Burning Mammoth Cap. Then we will add D5. Ice Tunnel. Oops. D5 Ice Tunnel. Three Ice Golems. That's fun. We're just going to pull these in. They're not unique to this adventure. And then we'll move on with our life. Notes on how to ascend the Glacial Palace. The Primordial Flame keeps showing up. After 10 minutes of travel up the ice tunnels, the party reaches area D6. All right, 10 minutes. Okay, save this. The ice tunnel. So the ice tunnel, so it attaches to D6. Is there a map in the book? 1 second. I'll look for one in a minute. I know there is one. I'd like to share it with you. So let me look for maps really quickly. Waiting for the PDF to load because these gaming PDFs are sometimes monstrously large. And meanwhile, we'll go ahead and add D6. The ice bridge. We're going to do a read aloud and then grab all the description. Character content. So let's do this. We're gonna the party is partway up there. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this here. I'm gonna go ahead and add quotes around these because that will help with formatting this. Creatures. There are creatures here, imagine that. Actually, part of me feels like I ought to make this a separate area because anyway, I'll go ahead and leave them here. It's catch-22 if I want to split them up or not. Sometimes I will separate locations differently than they will, but let's go ahead and do this, and then I'll go ahead and set up those wormlings. So the ice bridge. I'm going to associate this with a D5. The ice tunnel leads to here. In view mode, looks like this. That's the read aloud. The details. The next read aloud. First section, second section. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to go ahead and create another creature. We're going to create a wormling. Nexus wormling. It's creature 5. Oh, that's gross. Nothing like being sick. I've got just a little bit. I'm a little under the weather today. I don't know what the heck is going on. Probably not getting enough sleep is not helping. Languages, skills. Rightful presence, immunities, weaknesses, okay. Immune to cold, imagine that. Freezing blood. No surprises there. Speed, melee, damage. Claws, wings, and tail? Could never happen. Draconic momentum. Ice climb. Those will be fun little adventures. Let's attach them here. So now we've got the wormlings associated with the location that has the wormlings. That's cool. I believe I already have Nexus layer in here, but it may be empty. Yep, I didn't actually drop anything in, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. It may actually run into the Nexus yet. It could happen. After 5 rounds of combat, the Nexus arrives. I'm going to actually do this inside of the, there we go, description. I think that actually works better. I'm going to go ahead and fix that for, I like that better. So we're going to come in here. This is 6. We're going to this. 6. Okay, so ice bridge, ice walls, and then I can get rid of that. And then this no longer needs to be quoted, and then everything works better. Cool, I like that a lot better. So back to 7. After Venexus arrives, he says a bunch of stuff, and probably, you know, everybody's gonna laugh at him. Creature 9, that's not bad. Do those. And then we have treasure. Primordial Flame. Breaking the curse. Okay, that's fun. Ashen Swale, Eldritch, Nexus. So theoretically, I think I already have them, but we're gonna find out. Ashen Swale, the Nexus are already in here. So we're gonna associate them. Ashen Swale, boom. The Nexus. Then I need to add Rich. One second, I'm trying to find this picture still. Not wanting to save the image out of the PDF correctly. There we go. Nope. Ugh. It's saving the border on the PDF instead of the image itself. I'm gonna have to screenshot it or something. It's fine. I'm not gonna do that on stream, but I can show you what the map looks like here in a second. So we've got Ash and Swell. Okay, so this guy needs added, and I need to. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to share my screen with you because you need to see this. Okay, here's the PDF. So immediately suffer the curse. Go to page 75. So this is just page 59. There's no information about the curse in here at all. That looks like it's going to be back matter, probably. Or maybe toolbox, I'm not sure. Nope, that's not this. $79. Somewhere around here is a frozen flame. Primordial flame, there it is. Primordial flame. It's page 75. Oh, yeah, that is the page that it said told me to go to. Sheds bright light on 100-foot radius and dim light for the next 100 feet. It's cursed. Creature that has held the primordial flame and is no longer in possession gets wrecked. That's fun. Curse can only be removed only by avenging Casarstic. Good times. I'm gonna go ahead and add that as a little note in here. That'll be the focus of the next adventure. That makes sense. Okay, saving that. I should also try something here. I need another villain. Let's add an item though. Is the I don't have a primordial flame in here. Let's do that, shall we? That seems like an oversight. That's an important item. It's going to be a real problem for me to copy and paste, so I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm at least going to save the item and attach them now. Associated game objects, the primordial flame. We're going to go ahead and add a villain, it looks like. That's also going to be in here, I think. There we go. Male Sarkoran God. Okay, yeah, sure. You go with that. Creature 7. Well, I guess that means he's going to make the party god slayers here real soon. Okay. Let's do this. Speed, melee. Damage. Dependent action, indomitable step. Good word. Otherworldly roar. Rampaging charge. Lots of fun stuff. So one of the things that I'll do before this encounter is spend some time really going through what these abilities are and how I can apply them to our party, but save that. Now we're going to add him here. Okay, cool. So now let me pull up. Here's the map of the place that we're doing, the Glacial Palace. So this is important because I'm going to come in here and do a thing. I'm going to go to D1. I'm going to attach it to D2 since those are connected. Now D1 and D2 are connected, and I've also associated D3 since they live there, those matter. So D2 needs to be associated with D3 and D4. So let's do that. D2, associated game locations, 1, but also 2 and 4. D2. So this is D2, so D3. This is why the map matters, and I would love to have the image actually in there. There we go. And so D5 connect to, it looks like, D4 and D3. So we're going to go to D5. Associated locations, D6, yes, but also D3 and D4. Now D6 is connected to D5, but also to D7. This would be, I can't wait for the new UI on this. It's so great. It's already started rolling out in a few places, and it is so cool. So, all right, now D7, we're gonna have to create D8 still. So let's go ahead and do that. That's D8 default. All right, and quite the horde, the dragon horde. Oh, I know why that's a hard return. There we go. Seems magic. Book of Lingering Blaze. And jump sets. Okay, cool. So then I need a place to put the conclusion. That'll be a time for the next stream. I'll come up with something to do with this conclusion. Looks like I've got these, so now we go into the vault. The vault needs to be associated with location 7. There we go. Boom. Now, back to the list of locations, and we can expand the Lost Mammoth Valley. We can see the Glacial Palace now, and Lyuba and are both fully expanded Ashen Soils compound. Glacial Palace, all those things are connected. I'll have to try to rip those maps out and toss them together. But yeah, most things are also in Nethys for this adventure, which is pretty great. So a lot of times I just link to Nethys for things. But I will see if the maybe there's Nethys doesn't usually end up with a lot of the images, but I'll see what I can find. If not, I can just screen grab it right off the PDF. It'll work. It'll be okay. Well, that gets us really to the end of this adventure. So the last thing for me to do, I think everything's been filled out except for the conclusion in Lorelink. So I'll have to give a little bit of thought to that. And adding some of these images in here, but everything else should be pretty much in good shape. So with that, I'm going to call it just a little bit early, or I guess right on time, maybe for once. Hope you all have enjoyed kind of going through this. This is the end of book 2 of the 3-book series for the Quest of the Frozen Flame. Really looking forward to its conclusion, and we'll eventually be able to get started on book 3. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for listening to me rant just a little bit about running long time campaigns, like long running adventures. Love to hear more thoughts about that from all of you. But again, we're Lorelink. This is our regular weekly stream. I normally stream on Monday nights, but Mark wasn't available tonight, so I decided to jump in for our usual stream slot. We will be back every single Tuesday of the month with something exciting going on. So do please be sure to show up for that. And do check out Lorelink. Go to lorelink.com. You can see all the different systems that we have been able to put into Lorelink, and you can even give us a try. If you want more information about Lorelink, follow us on Blue Sky at lorelink.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter at the website as well. Please be sure to give us a like or a subscribe on YouTube, or give us a follow on Twitch as well, and you'll get notified when we're back on stream. So thank you all so much. Have a good night, and I will talk to you later.